The following portion of Daytime is sponsored by Older Lundy, Koch and Martino.
It's tough to watch a loved one struggle with addiction or substance abuse, not always knowing when to step in or how to help. But thankfully, there are laws in place like the Marchman Act that offer assistance when necessary and before it's too late. Here to tell us more about how this life-saving practice is helping out families is Ben Older with Older Lundy, Koch and Martino. Ben, nice to have you back.
Good morning. How are you? Good to see you again.
I'm doing well. So first off, just walk me through what exactly is the Marchman Act again.
All right. Well, the Marchman Act is a law that Florida has enacted to help families and friends get a loved one or a friend into treatment for substance abuse.
And so it's just any family or friend can enact this. Who has the power to do it?
Anybody who has knowledge of the person's substance abuse or alcoholism, et cetera, can bring a Marchman action.
Okay, so I remember the last time you were here, you talked to us some about the family and friend side of things, but there's another side, and that's the person that's accused. Have you ever seen it where someone has been wrongly accused of having substance abuse?
Unfortunately, I have seen that on multiple occasions. It's sad, but I do see it.
So what happens? What are the rights of the person in that case?
Well, it's just like any lawsuit. When someone brings a Marchman Act against another person and it's false, they need to hire an attorney, usually, and go in and basically prove to the judge, who's the one that would decide whether or not the Marchman Act would be enforced and send someone to treatment, that they don't, in fact, have a substance abuse problem.
So the first step would be to call an attorney, though, to make sure you're covered?
In that situation, I recommend it strongly because it's pretty hard to defend yourself against someone who's wrongly bringing you a Marchman Act unless you have someone really on your side.
So have you ever seen it where the Marchman Act has been used to maybe gain an advantage in a family law case?
Even more so, unfortunately, yes. I've seen it in a family law case, especially when there are children involved. It'll be the other spouse, and they'll accuse the person of having a drug and alcohol problem, and they can use the Marchman Act, hopefully to get that person sent off to treatment so they can gain some leverage on time sharing with the children.
I can imagine that this gets so muddled down and there's so many layers to this, but what are the options for someone that's in this situation?
Well, the option is really that they have to end up in court to prove to the judge that they don't have a substance abuse problem, because once someone has accused you, you have to go through the process. You can't just write a letter to the court or sign an affidavit. You have to go to court, and you basically have to have a mini trial and explain to the court through evidence that you in fact don't have the substance abuse problem. There's really no way out of going through that process.
And that's a process that I would imagine could be very daunting if someone's doing it on their own. So that's why you say it's best to reach out to an attorney.
That's my opinion. I mean because there's no do-overs, right? If you go there and there's a mistake, an evidentiary mistake, et cetera, you try to bring some evidence in and the court won't let it in because it doesn't follow the evidentiary rules, the court could rule against you, and that's that. You can't get another shot at it.
There's no turnbacks on that?
No, there's not.
All right, well, Ben, I know that you can definitely walk people through the process each step of the way because you have the experience to do that.
Unfortunately, I've had to do both sides of this equation. I prefer to do it when I'm helping a family. I prefer to do it when someone needs to be in treatment, but I've definitely had to defend people that don't need to be in treatment. And it's sad, but it's part of the world we live in.
All right, Ben, thank you so much for talking with us again. Always nice having you here.
It's good to be here. All
right, and for more information, you can visit olderlundylaw.com or call the number on your screen, 813-254-8998. Daytime will be right back.
The preceding portion of Daytime was sponsored by Older Lundy, Koch and Martino.